Ew.
What are you watching? It sounds kind of good.
Oh, it's called the Dandadan. It's about this dude that gets stripped of his balls by some random grandma. In exchange, he gets her core spiritual powers. But his balls are really a golden ball that he's on a quest to search for with this girl that he's slowly falling in love with. But then there's this other girl that kind of strokes his ball. And then there's this grandma who meets another grandma and they have this really epic fight. I actually think they did it this episode. Dandadan is now up there in the Hall of Shame for batshit crazy stuff that I'm obsessed with, that eventually I will introduce people to, which will result in them looking at me sideways for the rest of our relationship. I mean, are we just gonna pretend that Ira wasn't just stroking Okarun's nuts? I know it's a golden ball, but it's super hard for me to forget that this nugget is Okarun's crown jewels. And the dialogue doesn't seem to forget that either, which makes this scenario all the more hilarious. All I can say is, you don't want someone walking into the room with no context while you're watching this. First and foremost, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Turbo Granny is the new Dimple in this series. I find her hilarious, and I know at some point in the series, they're gonna use this against me by making me feel things for this frankly deplorable character. Momo and Okarun are struggling to find the golden nugget where Momo drops this line, which at this point, I'm unsure if that is an insult. Turbo Granny doesn't give a shit and tells them that someone probably picked up Okarun's Dragon Ball. They disapprove of her attitude and proceed to stomping her like some thugs from the Boondocks. The dialogue in this episode is golden, for lack of a better word. Since they can't find the balls, I mean, it's really just one ball, but you get what I mean. They report back to Granny Seiko, who says they should wait until she has more ball intel. What the fuck? To add to the hilarity of this scene, Okarun acknowledges that wild line. Like, what is ball intel? At this point, we are 2 minutes into this and I am dying of laughter. The duo resumes school and Okarun runs into this degenerate. To the bros watching, avoid guys with this mentality like the plague. He thinks Okarun and Momo are involved in extracurricular activities, but then he starts yapping about how he wants to have a go. Ew! Find your own girl instead of trying to be another man's Eskimo brother. Then this dick takes it a step further and starts saying, she'll sleep with anybody. Okarun is a man about his business, so he transforms and grips up this guy, talking about, keep my wife's name out of your mouth. And I'm just sitting here like, you didn't need to do all of that. You almost strangled this man to death. One thing I can say is that Dandadan makes me feel like a kid again. I remember feeling just like Okarun, not being able to acknowledge the fact that I find this girl super attractive and not being able to handle myself over these feelings. So when Okarun was running away from Momo, I found it funny but cute at the same time. I'm low-key turning into a fangirl. They roped me in with the action, crazy spirit shit, appealing character designs, and crazy humor. Now I'm invested in this high school romance, which I thought I grew out of years ago. Even if this is a high school show, I believe that in every stage of a person's life, they will run into a character like Ira. This pink prick believes she's God's gift to the world and that she's so noble. But then we find out she's spreading rumors to everyone that Momo is the local high school 304. I love how she keeps this innocent high-pitched voice even while she's doing her evil plot. She is so self-absorbed. So they can live another day. I want to keep replaying that scene where Momo Dio dumps the bathtub straight into Pinky's self-righteous noggin. What a cow. Pinky is convinced that she is the chosen one because she is pretty. I guess this golden nugget falling in front of her is the universe's sign for her to go all in. She believes in it so much that we see her rubbing on that thing multiple times. With her newfound purpose, she wants to take down Momo as she caught a glance of her powers after being pounded to the floor. Now, previously I said that Pinky is in the opening, so she must be a regular cast of the show. I thought she would have powers, but I don't know where they're going with this character. Turbo Granny reveals that anyone who touches the ball can potentially unlock their spiritual powers. So that means Ira is going to unlock her powers, which I'm looking forward to. It's common for us to see rivalry dynamics between dudes like Sanji and Zoro, so it'll be nice for us to see Momo and Ira having this sort of rivalry too. And what better way to start off a rivalry than to have a good old abduction scene? Instead of a one-on-one, Ira makes use of her yes woman. They run to lock down Momo's legs, but she isn't having any of it. Momo summons her marginal hand and gently slaps these girls to the floor. And I'm over here doing the war salute to these girls because they are casualties of war. How on earth are they surviving this one? What makes this scene even worse is that Ira is just like, there they are, the demon wings. She doesn't even pretend to care about her friends. She's not like, oh no, my friends. These two get mollywopped to the floor like that, and it was never mentioned again in the rest of this episode. This has to be up there in top 5 anime portrayals of 2024. This is reaching snakiness levels up there with Mr. Popo's juice shenanigans. Ira takes Okarun's nuts and shoves them into Momo's face, not once, but twice. And the dialogue is just what? I hope you didn't eat while watching this like I did. Suddenly, Okarun shows up with this odd-looking spirit that grabs Ira, talking about, call me mama. Okarun transforms, and I just love his personality when he's in turbo mode. He is way cooler like that. He dashes into action only to be eaten by the obsessed spirit. He isn't the only one. Soon after that, Silky Yokai swallows Ira too. She even gives Momo a dose of karma by mollywopping her around by her hair. And sure, why not gobble her up as well? I like this last bit though, as it involves a bit of strategy. It turns out that Cross was actually a lighter, and since Silky gobbled up some of her hair, Momo uses that lighter to burn Silky. And that's the episode. What the fuck did I just watch? Final thoughts. I like where they have taken things with Turbo Granny so far. I think that she adds to the hilarity of the show. She's a good foil for our protagonist. Ira is a nice addition too. I can't say I like her though. She's more of one of those characters that you love to hate, which isn't a bad thing. From the preview, it seems like we'll find out more about Silky's backstory. I'm curious to see if they will go down the Demon Slayer route of making her backstory super sympathetic. I'm not against that direction. However, with Dandadan's light-hearted tone so far, I feel as though it isn't necessary, at least at this point in the story. I just hope that Okarun gets his nut back soon. I feel uncomfortable every time Ira strokes it. It's about this dude that gets stripped of his